In the meantime, let's go back to New York City. Want to get some updates on the case that is unfolding there regarding Sean Diddy Combs.
Man, I ain't gonna lie.
It's almost impossible to imagine the depth of the chaos surrounding Diddy Combs right now. The man once heralded as a music mogul and cultural icon is now at the center of one of the most jaw-dropping scandals in entertainment history. But here's the kicker: just when you think the story can't get any darker, more details emerge. And they're more shocking than anyone could have anticipated. What exactly is Diddy accused of, and how far will he go to protect his empire? Let's dive into the latest chapter of a saga that's rocking Hollywood to its core.
News tonight, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a grand jury indicted the music mogul. His attorney tells CNN that he is currently being processed. The charges are unclear as of this moment.
Picture this: a multi-millionaire trapped in a cold, windowless cell, scribbling frantic notes on scraps of paper. That's apparently what Diddy has been doing while awaiting trial, and the contents of those notes have sent shockwaves through courtrooms and newsrooms alike. According to reports, authorities raided his cell during a routine sweep and stumbled upon a series of handwritten messages that could blow his case wide open. These weren't just random musings or doodles, they were allegedly instructions. Prosecutors claimed to find dirt on his accusers and silence them for good. Can you imagine a man who once dominated the music charts is now reduced to plotting revenge on scraps of paper, all while facing what could be the downfall of his career and legacy?
So there's a few things going on. First is the privilege issue. The judge will decide whether the documents are privileged or not. If they're not, they're going to go to the government. If the documents are not only not privileged, but they're evidence of witness tampering, then a few things can happen, all of which are bad for Sean Diddy Combs. First, of course, it faced obstruction of justice charges in a superseding indictment.
Painting a picture of someone trying to manipulate the case from behind bars. But that's not all. Diddy supposedly made numerous calls to family members, urging them to dig up damaging information on his accusers. One prosecutor even claimed that Diddy instructed his relatives to coordinate with individuals outside his legal team to handle certain accusers. What does this tell us? It suggests desperation, a man scrambling to regain control in a situation spiraling completely out of his hands. And let's be honest, if these allegations are true, it's not just desperation, it's downright sinister.
Exactly. You're just like, it's there. I mean, it's not just there. It's everywhere. My news feed is dominated by it. Fox News, CNN, everyone. There's raids at Diddy's house.
Ads are matters he discusses with his attorneys. Agilov said in court, claiming the notes reflect legal strategy, not criminal intent. But here's the million-dollar question: if these notes were just legal brainstorming, why do they read like a checklist for witness tampering? You don't need a law degree to see how that looks.
Courthouse in Lower Manhattan, the judge ordering the prosecution to turn over its findings from a jail cell raid, Diddy's jail cell, just yesterday. What were the contents of those raids?
Well, apparently, according to the defense, they're legal documents. The government saying no, on the contrary, they're just some handwritten notes and a calendar.
Witness was paid off, and finding dirt on two different victims is not a privilege. She further argued that these notes point to a pattern of obstruction, with Diddy allegedly trying to influence the case, even while incarcerated. And that's where it gets even murkier. According to Slack, Diddy's actions aren't just about protecting himself, they're about controlling the narrative and silencing anyone who might expose him. That's a level of manipulation that's hard to wrap your head around.
I think it's over.
You think it's over?
I think it's over for him as like a figure in entertainment.
Right. But do you think it's over as him as far as like
jail?
he gets a cell right next to R. Kelly?
I don't think so.
Let's zoom out for a second. This isn't just about some scribbled notes or a few phone calls to family members. This is part of a much larger story, a story that's been unraveling for months, if not years. Diddy's legal troubles began with accusations of exploitation and abuse, but what's emerging now goes far beyond what most people could have imagined. The allegations paint a picture of systematic manipulation, where power and wealth were allegedly used to exploit and silence victims. And the deeper you dig, the darker it gets. That's what
people were saying, and maybe everybody's a conspiracy theorist now, but that's what people were saying about the Diddy situation. Like when the feds rolled up, with the Hummers and shit, they were like, it wasn't about Diddy, it was about if there were tapes of powerful people there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
They were the ones that called. They're like, I need to protect myself, so go in there with all the things and rip any tapes or anything.
One of the most explosive pieces of evidence against Diddy involves a series of recordings reportedly seized during raids on his properties. These aren't just ordinary recordings, they're said to contain damning footage of engaging in deeply troubling behavior. According to sources close to the investigation, these tapes were hidden in safes and encrypted drives, suggesting that Diddy went to great lengths to keep them secret. Why? Because if the rumors about their contents are even half true, they could destroy him and possibly implicate others in Hollywood's elite circle. Rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right? That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof of anything other than that. For years, whispers about what really went on at Diddy's infamous gatherings have floated around the entertainment industry. These weren't your average house parties, they were lavish, exclusive, and according to some deeply disturbing former attendees, have described them as anything but ordinary, with some claiming they witnessed acts that left them shaken. And now, with these tapes reportedly in the hands of investigators, the whispers are turning into loud, unavoidable questions. What exactly was Diddy hiding? And who else might be implicated?
Rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
Calls prosecutors say he's been coordinating with associates to launch a public relations campaign aimed at swaying public opinion. For instance, he allegedly instructed his children to post celebratory videos of him on social media, hoping to create a more sympathetic narrative. But here's the thing, when you're facing allegations as serious as these, no amount of curated Instagram posts is going to change the facts. If anything, it just makes him look even more calculated. There's people on both sides, right? There's the people on the right, they're trying to nail the people that are on the left with this.
That Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
Here in this story, her lawsuit, which accuses Diddy of years of exploitation and manipulation, has opened the floodgates for others to come forward. Cassie's bravery and stepping into the spotlight has been widely praised, but it's also put her in the crosshairs of Diddy's alleged attempts to discredit and intimidate his accusers. Prosecutors claim that Diddy has fixated on Cassie, using her as a scapegoat to deflect attention from his own actions. It's a textbook case of gaslighting, and it's as disturbing as it is predictable. What's striking about all of this is how many people seem to have known, or at least suspected, what was going on, but chose to stay silent over the years. Diddy has surrounded himself with powerful friends, from A-list celebrities to influential business leaders, and while some have distanced themselves in light of recent allegations, others remain conspicuously quiet. It begs the question, how much did they know? And if they knew, why didn't they say anything? The entertainment industry has a long history of protecting its own, but this case could mark a turning point. The question now is whether the people who once stood by Diddy will continue to do so, or whether they'll finally speak out.
There's people on both sides, right? There's the people on the right that are trying to nail the people that are on the left with this. There's people that are journalists that are trying to nail the people that were involved in this.
This is it, yeah.
And they've managed to keep that list from coming out, which shows you how powerful certain people are. That should show you a lot. That should be terrifying.
Are sending shockwaves through the entire industry, forcing a reckoning that's been a long time coming. For years, stories of exploitation and abuse have been swept under the rug, dismissed as rumors or exaggerated tabloid fodder. But in today's climate, where survivors are finding their voices and demanding accountability, those days are over. Diddy may be the one facing charges right now, but he's not the only one under scrutiny. The question is, who's next?
I mean, everybody hung with Diddy. That's the other tricky thing. Like, Diddy hung out with everybody. And I've spoken to a bunch of people who are like, yo, great dude, like, always there for you, never asked for a single thing.
Till 1 in the morning.
And then freak off.
Everybody says, get out of the house.
Yeah.
It's like the gremlins start eating after midnight.
Now, Diddy remains in custody, denied bail for the 3rd time on account of being a flight risk and a danger to witnesses. And as the legal battles rage on the world, is watching, waiting to see how this story unfolds. Will justice be served? Will the truth come out? Or will Diddy's wealth and influence allow him to escape accountability? Once again, one thing's for sure, this is far from over. The cow and Diddy's empire are widening, and it's only a matter of time before the whole thing comes crashing down. And when it does, it won't just be Diddy who pays the price. It'll be an entire system that enabled him. The story surrounding Diddy Combs only gets messier as more voices come forward, shining a spotlight on years of alleged abuse, manipulation, and control. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion. Each new revelation stings worse than the last, while Diddy's legal team fights tooth and nail to discredit the evidence piling up against him. The sheer number of accusations and lawsuits paint a picture that's nearly impossible to ignore. And right at the center of it all is Cassie Ventura, the whistleblower, who has become both a symbol of bravery and a target for Diddy's alleged attempts to silence him.
If that's part of the indictment, that's someone like a blackmail. He was blackmailing people to be in the freak-offs. So that's federal. That could be that's a federal charge. He can't blackmail people to say, yo, listen here, you did it once and you're gonna do it again. That ain't gonna make it with the government or nobody.
Thought, yeah, they probably didn't see these notes, and they never will. But if you're Diddy, don't you want your notes back? Yeah, like if you've spent so many hours gathering evidence for your side, or strategy or whatever. For me, I'd be like, oh no, please don't destroy, please return. Cassie's lawsuit was the first domino to fall, and her story is as heartbreaking as it is enraging. According to her claims, Diddy not only exploited her, but used his wealth and power to keep her under his control for more than a decade. This isn't just about a toxic relationship, it's about a man who allegedly weaponized his influence to manipulate nearly every aspect of her life, from controlling her finances to dictating who she could speak to. Cassie's allegations paint a chilling portrait of life under Diddy's thumb, and while some might dismiss this as just another celebrity breakup gone sour, the details suggest something far more sinister.
Yeah, they probably didn't see these notes, and they never will.
But if you're Diddy, don't you want your notes back?
Yeah.
If you've spent so many hours gathering evidence for your side, or strategy or whatever, for me, I'd be like, oh no, please don't destroy, please return.
One of the most jaw-dropping accusations in Cassie's lawsuit is her claim that Diddy orchestrated elaborate schemes to humiliate and intimidate her. At one point, when she tried to distance herself from him, he allegedly retaliated by targeting people close to her. There's even a claim that Diddy once made threats against rapper Kid Sai, who Cassie briefly dated during a rough patch in their relationship, not long after Sai's car mysteriously exploded in his driveway. While Diddy's team has denied any involvement, Peg himself has reportedly confirmed this chilling incident, saying this is all true. It's the kind of detail that feels ripped straight from a Hollywood thriller. But for Cassie, it was her reality.
Speak with impunity about the Illuminati because I know who you would have to be in order for what I'm saying to bother you, number one.
Right.
Number two, I know your big secret. I know that you're not the Illuminati, I am. So...
From seeing her injuries, this wasn't an isolated event either. Cassie describes a pattern of violence that left her living in constant fear, with Diddy staff allegedly complicit and covering up his actions. And while Cassie eventually found the courage to escape, the scars, both literal and emotional, are something she says she'll carry for the rest of her life. Since filing her lawsuit, Cassie has endured relentless scrutiny and backlash. But she hasn't backed down. Her decision to speak out has inspired others to come forward, creating a domino effect that's exposing what some are calling one of the biggest scandals in the entertainment industry. At least 4 additional lawsuits have been filed against Diddy in recent weeks, each one adding more weight to the growing list of allegations. These aren't just anonymous claims either. Real people, some of whom were once part of Diddy's inner circle, are putting their names and faces on the line to hold him accountable.
Tells the stories I saw her go upstairs and these dudes are right on the couch.
Yeah.
And then I go in this room and these guys are
yeah. And pros. Apparently he was getting male gigolos to girls.
Girls?
Yeah, that was one of the rumors, the
Male
freak off. So he would
gigolos.
hire the professional to have with the girls, and I think he would watch allegedly.
Compliant And it wasn't just women who were allegedly targeted. There are claims that men were also subjected to coercion and humiliation, further complicating the narrative. This isn't just about one man's alleged actions, it's about a culture of silence and complicity that allowed it to continue for years.
Diddy, if you're just joining us here, was just arrested and taken into federal custody in New York tonight. Sources tell TMZ Homeland Security swooped into a Midtown hotel late Monday where Diddy was staying, and they arrested him.
What's even more unsettling is the role that Diddy's wealth and influence may have played in enabling this behavior for decades. He was seen as untouchable, a titan of the music industry, whose success made him immune to accountability. He threw lavish parties attended by the biggest names in Hollywood, hosted charity events that painted him as a philanthropist, and cultivated an image of success that many admired. But behind the scenes, according to these allegations, was a man who used his power not to uplift others, but to control and exploit them.
It as an individual. Sean is the one who pulled that gun out. Sean is the one who shot. So he has to take responsibility for that. He put that gun back in his...
Become a focal point of the investigation. Once seen as glamorous and exclusive, they're now being described by former attendees as chaotic and deeply disturbing. Witnesses claim these gatherings often spiraled into something far darker, with some alleging they were pressured into situations they didn't consent to. And while Diddy's team has dismissed these accounts as baseless rumors, the sheer number of people coming forward suggests there's more to these stories than meets the IR.
And that has nothing to do with him having this baby or him having this side girl for almost 15 years.
Deeply uncomfortable, including seeing individuals who appeared to be far too young to be at such a gathering. While Wallace has faced her share of skepticism, her account aligns with others who have described similar experiences. If these allegations are true, it raises troubling questions about how such behavior was allowed to continue for so long and who else might have been involved. The fact that so many high-profile names have been linked to Diddy's parties only adds another layer of injury to this unfolding saga over the years. His events attracted a who of Hollywood, from actors and musicians to politicians and business moguls. While many of these individuals likely had no knowledge of the darker side of these gatherings, their association with Diddy has come under intense scrutiny. Some have even gone so far as to delete old photos and social media posts in an attempt to distance themselves from the controversy. It's a stark reminder of how quickly public perception can shift, especially when new information comes to light.
I have information that he was arrested tonight at a Manhattan hotel. He is currently being processed. I heard from his attorney they are still maintaining his innocence. They said that in anticipation of these charges that Diddy relocated to...
What happened at these parties? It's about the victims who are finally finding their voices after years of silence. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of this case is how many people felt they had no choice but to stay quiet, whether out of fear, shame, or a belief that no one would believe them. These individuals endured unspeakable trauma in isolation. Now, thanks in part to Cassie's bravery, they're stepping forward and demanding justice. Diddy's response to all of this has been predictably defensive. His legal team has denied the allegations, calling them exaggerated or outright false. In a public statement, Diddy insisted he's being unfairly targeted, claiming enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. But for many, these denials ring hollow. After all, if the accusations were truly baseless, why have so many people come forward with such similar stories? And why did Diddy settle Cassie's lawsuit so quickly after it was filed? These are questions that remain unanswered, and they're not going away anytime soon.
If it is privilege, of course they won't. But if it really is what the prosecution says, that has nothing to do with the case, or even worse, it's actually evidence of witness tampering, because we all know the attorney-client privilege, there's a crime fraud exception. You can't use your lawyer to perpetuate a future or continuing fraud or crime. So if the documents are what the government says they are, they're going to get them again. And again, it's just going to be a matter of days, because I don't expect
safe coming forward, knowing they'll be believed and supported. and it's about dismantling the systems that allow this kind of behavior to go unchecked, of course. The road to justice is never easy. For every step forward, there are setbacks and challenges. Diddy's legal team is doing everything in its power to discredit the allegations and protect his reputation. And while the evidence against him seems overwhelming, the outcome of these cases is far from certain. But one thing is for sure, the world is watching, and no matter what happens, this case will have lasting repercussions, not just for Diddy, but for the entire entertainment industry.
Buy what the prosecution's selling. He thinks they've looked at the notes.
Yeah.
He thinks that they're cheating.
I mean, I would think that too.
But apparently, what happened is commonplace.
So what's next? Will more victims come forward? Will the tapes reportedly seized by investigator reveal the full extent of Diddy's actions? And perhaps most importantly, will justice finally be served? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. This is a story that's far from over, as more details emerge. The spotlight on Diddy in the industry that enabled him will only continue to grow. And while the road ahead may be long, the courage of those who have spoken out offers a glimmer of hope that change is not only possible, but inevitable. So what do you think? Is Diddy downfall inevitable? Or will he manage to evade justice once again? And who else in Hollywood might be implicated as more evidence comes to light? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Until next time, stay informed and stay curious. Goodbye.